question. Is your broker getting your personal sign-off on any investment in individual stocks?
Bigger, fatter, negative.
He's not getting your sign-off before he makes investments in defense stocks? Can I refer you to your
I'm not making investments, Senator.
I am asking, does he know that he has to get your sign-off before he does that?
Of course.
Senator Elizabeth Warren just caught something big. She sat across from United States Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and asked him one simple question. Someone bet $500 million on oil, just 14 minutes before a Trump war announcement. 3 times. Same pattern. Every single time. Do you have any explanation other than insider trading? Pete Hegseth did not say no. He talked about military missions. That answer should concern every single American.
Senator Warren.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So Americans are paying a high price for Donald Trump's war with Iran. We've got 14 service members who are dead, over 400 more who are wounded. Prices are rising for nearly every American family. But someone is profiting off Trump's war. Insiders who know what's going on and who place bets on that inside information. On March 23rd, just 14 minutes before Trump unexpectedly posted about, quote, very good conversations on ending the war, traders suddenly bet $500 million on the price of oil, which, once Trump made his announcement, immediately dropped. It happened again on April 7th, and then again on April 21st, a surge in oil bets, then a Trump post, and then a huge shift in oil prices in just the space of minutes. It looks like insiders have been making out like bandits using secret information about the war. Now, one U.S. soldier has been charged, but that was for betting on capturing Maduro months ago. Not a single person has been charged in the many trades over the Middle East war. So, Secretary Hegseth, do you have any explanation for these perfectly timed spikes in trading activity other than insider trading?
Senator, all I can tell you is that everything we've done in our department, everything we've done with information, in working with the White House and across the interagency has been completely above board.
Well, so what does it mean? Do you have any other explanation other than insider trading? Do you have a story for why just minutes before there's an announcement, there's a surge in trading activity?
Senator, I'm more than focused on doing my job and ensuring we execute properly, which thankfully under this administration, our troops have done incredible things in all these missions. My job in all of those moments is to make sure we're prepared. And that's part of the reason why we've been so successful in these raids, in these efforts, is that this joint force is prepared.
You're saying you're not paying any attention to this insider trading. Is that what you're telling me? That you've paid no attention to this? You haven't noticed it? You haven't done anything about it?
What I'm saying is we're focused on our mission of executing for the American people, and what happens in markets is not, in betting markets is not something we're involved in.
What happens in betting markets doesn't matter to you, even if the information may be coming from insiders in your office?
Senator, it's not something we're involved in at all. And of course, we take operational security at every level very seriously. In fact, no one's taken operational security more seriously than us. If you look at what it required to keep secret Midnight Hammer and Operation Maduro, the absolute resolve with Maduro, and the steps we've taken, so no one's been tighter about ensuring that operational security is ensured.
To deal with insider trading out of your office?
I mean, we would ensure at every level that inside information is
I take that as a no.
Properly safeguarded.
All right. Well, obviously you're not. I'm also concerned about recent reporting on your own financial dealings with regard to profiting from the war in Iran. The Financial Times reported that your broker tried to buy hundreds of shares in a BlackRock fund invested in defense companies just before the war began. The law clearly prohibits the Secretary.
That entire story is false, has been from the beginning, and was made up out of whole cloth. And anybody that looks at it sees how it was worded from the beginning to make it look like I was involved in something I had nothing to do and never have. So any insinuation that I've ever profited other than serving this nation, what what I give, what you give, what others give, I'm not looking for money. I don't do it for money. I don't do it for profit. I don't do it for stocks. And that's part of the reason why I'm able to be effective in this job. Because no one owns me. No one owns this department. No one owns this president. And we can execute for the American people, and we do.
The law clearly prohibits the Secretary of Defense from owning stock in the 10 biggest defense contractors. Other senators and I sent you a letter with detailed questions about this, and you have not given us a response. So I'd like to hear you say, did you, through your broker at Morgan Stanley or otherwise, seek to invest in any defense-related funds right before Trump started the Iran war?
I'll give it to you as a big, fat negative.
Then let me ask you a second question. Is your broker getting your personal sign-off on any investment in individual stocks?
Bigger, fatter negative.
He's not getting your sign-off before he makes investments in defense stocks? Can I refer you to your
I'm not making investments, Senator.
I am asking, does he know that he has to get your sign-off before he does that?
Of course.
The
I
time
don't know what
of
you're
the
looking for, but you ain't
senator
going to
has
find
expired.
it.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator.
I would like to enter into the record the ethics agreement that the Secretary of Defense has signed, that he will sign off personally before his broker makes any attempt to buy defense stocks.
Is there objection?
Thank you.
Without objection, it will be admitted. Senator Banks.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Secretary Hegseth, you're doing a great job. I've been in Washington for 10 years, several secretaries of defense, now Secretary of War. You're the best that we've had since I've been in Washington. What you've done to restore readiness, restore military recruitment, get the Pentagon focused on warfighting is second to none. And I appreciate what you and President Trump and General Kaine are doing very much.
Let us slow this down, all the way down. Because what Elizabeth Warren just laid out is not a small allegation. This is not about one lucky trade. This is not about one tip. This is not about one moment of good timing. This is about a pattern, a repeated pattern, 3 separate times, same structure, every time. First, a surge in trading, hundreds of millions of dollars, moving into oil markets. Then, minutes later, Donald Trump makes a public statement about the Iran war. Then, immediately, oil prices move, fast and sharply. And the people who place those trades win, big. Now let us go one by one. Moment number 1, March 23rd. 14 minutes, just 14 minutes, before a public post from Donald Trump. $500 million placed into oil bets. Not after, not during, before. Then the post goes live. Markets react instantly. Prices drop. The traders profit. Now ask yourself one simple question. How does someone know to place $500 million 14 minutes before a market-moving announcement that is not public yet? Moment number 2, April 7th. Again, a surge in oil trading, then an announcement, then a price swing. Within minutes, same pattern. Moment number 3, April 21st. Again, large trades, then a Trump statement, then a sharp move in oil prices. 3 times, same structure, same timing. Once, could be luck. Twice, maybe coincidence. But 3 times, with this level of precision, that is not luck. That is not coincidence. That starts to look like information. Information that was not public. And in finance, there is a name for that. Insider trading. Not a gray area, not a technicality, a federal crime. People go to prison for it. And here, we are talking about hundreds of millions of dollars, connected to war-related announcements. That is the context, in which Elizabeth Warren questioned Pete Hegseth. She asked a direct question. What explains these trades, if not insider trading? A simple question. A serious question. But the response did not match the weight of the question. Instead of addressing the trades, Hegseth talked about military performance, operational success. But that was not the issue. No one questioned the troops. No one questioned mission success. The question was about money, timing, and possible leaks. Warren pressed again. Have you looked into this? Have you investigated? The answer. We are focused on our mission. We are not involved in betting markets. But that misses the point. This is not about betting markets. This is about information, where it comes from, who has access to it, and whether it is leaking. Warren made that clear. What if the information is coming from inside your office? The response: that is not something we are involved in. Let that sit for a moment. Because even if a department is not placing trades, it is responsible for protecting its information. If that information is leaking and being used to make money, that is a national security issue and potentially a criminal issue. But instead of engaging, the response shifted again to operational security, to how tight things are. But that does not answer how traders seem to know what is coming minutes before it happens. Then the conversation moved even closer, more personal. A report from the Financial Times about Hegseth's broker at Morgan Stanley trying to buy into a fund linked to BlackRock just before the war escalated. Now there are rules, very clear rules. The Secretary of Defense cannot own stocks in major defense contractors because decisions made in that role directly affect those companies. That is a conflict of interest at the highest level. When asked about this, Hegseth said, "Completely false, made up." Then came two direct questions. Did you try to invest before the war began? Answer: no. Does your broker need your approval before making stock investments? Answer: no. But then the ethics agreement was entered into the record, signed by Hegseth himself, stating clearly he must personally approve those investments. Now there is a problem. Either the agreement is being followed, and the answer given was incorrect, or the agreement is not being followed, which is a violation. There is no third option. And above all of this, the bigger question remains, who is profiting from these trades? And who is investigating? Because so far, no major inquiry, no public accountability. And that leaves one uncomfortable possibility, that information tied to war may be reaching markets, and no one is seriously looking into it. And if that is true, then this is not just about money. It is about trust. It is about accountability. It is about whether the system is working the way it should. And right now, that answer is still unclear. So the real question is, what happens next? Will anyone investigate? Will anyone follow the money? Will anyone ask, who knew and when? Or will this simply fade away, like it never happened? That is what is at stake, right now.